I created 3 Walking Dead related memes today, and I kind of wanted to reflect on those. The first one that I made was called the Bro Code, broken in the ZA. It was tested and broken. And then on the second one, I used the caption marriage that could be possible in the zombie apocalypse. It's Rick and Lori. And the last one, I put Glenn and Maggie. Pictures of them saying that marriage is possible, proving it's successful. And I kind of want to talk about the 3 memes a little bit. And the Bro Code, which I've heard, I'm assuming everybody's heard, but if you haven't, it's bros before hoes. That's just because it's literal, I guess. I don't know why, or rhyming. It's not alliterative, it's rhyming. I think that's the reason why it's kind of popular, because it rhymes. But it simplifies the idea that you go for your guy friend before your girls. But it's a little bit different. Of course, in the zombie apocalypse, everything's more tense. Everything's pushed limit. But it's different even when the hoe in question isn't a hoe. She's a wife. That makes it complicated, because then do you choose your bro over your hoe? And it was really put to the test with Shane. Shane did not, he didn't know that Rick was dead. In the hospital he went and he couldn't hear heartbeat, but why would he put the gurney in front of the door? Because there was a shadow of doubt. He thought that, well, Rick might be alive. He can take care of himself. So there was a shadow of doubt. So I think he did lie to Lori and said, oh, your husband's dead. So he convinced her, well, he kind of threw out the Bro Code. Because he convinced her that Rick was dead. And so he broke the code the first time. Rick was trying to resolve the issue, and he did give Shane multiple chances, to come back, and Shane kept pushing him. And then in the last scene that they had together, when Shane pushes, he pushes Rick out in the middle of nowhere and takes him out there and leaves him out there. His plan was to shoot him in the back. So he was in his mind, he was breaking the Bro Code right there. But then he forced Rick's hands, so Rick's the final person who broke the code by killing his best friend, his ex-best friend, I should say, because they were really great friends right then. But yeah. Okay, that's the first meme that I made today. My second meme had Lori and Rick, and it was a marriage that could work. There was a possibility. And see, my first comment on that was from my wife. She says, maybe this is not a very good example. And so I have to defend it again a little bit. It's not a great example of a marriage working, but could. That's why I put it in italics on my meme, because I saw it as a possibility. When on it was season 3, episode, I think 2, maybe 3, maybe episode 3, when they were on the catwalk. And Rick goes and puts his hand on Lori's shoulder, and I think that's a big statement, because guys don't talk a lot about feelings. It's just, they typically don't talk a lot. And she was like, I thought you were coming out here to talk about us. So he was making an effort, I believe, even though it was unfounded on her. She didn't acknowledge that he was really taking an effort. She was too hung up, I think. But I don't know, reconciliation was possible. at that point. I saw a path to reconciliation. That's why I put the quotes. I put the could in italics. It could happen, because I think if Lori had not died in childbirth, I think they could have survived, and I think it could have been a pretty good marriage. Because I saw them on the path to reconciliation, at least from Rick's side. Hopefully Lori would have made some kind of breakthrough, because she was hung up on the past or something. I don't like Lori. Never did. She was, no, but there was potential there. But my third meme is a better example of a successful marriage, because it proves that marriage can work in the zombie apocalypse. We see Glenn and Maggie, or as I like to refer to them as Glaggy, which that's, I don't know, better than some words, I guess. But they probably never would have met if Z-Day had not happened. They probably never would have met, and even if they had, it would have been across the room, and they wouldn't. But they got together, and that was great. I think it's beautiful. And Rick says once, when he and Glenn are in the car, and Glenn says to Rick, she says, "I love her." She said, "I love you," but I didn't say it back. And Rick was like, "This is a good thing. We don't see enough of this in the zombie apocalypse. You know, we don't see that kind of love, and because love is devotion." It was based on, of course, lustful feelings in the beginning, but whatever. That lustful feelings didn't last. On the road to Terminus, Glenn and Maggie sought after each other. And that was pretty beautiful. It showed a commitment on both their parts, and they proved that it was good. They made it through Terminus. They've made it all the way through season 5, and well, the future holds much, but man, inspiring. And when I was asked last night, my wife asked me who my favorite character was, I said Glenn, because wow, good example of marriage, good example of growth. He's a very forgiving, but he's still such a badass. I mean, he just fights like crazy. And those are my memes for today. That's all I have to say about that.